We have on Situation Room the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, retired Major General John Gbor. And of course, it is a name that every Nigerian knows about. Retired Major General John Gbor has been speaking about developments in the polity in Nigeria. He says the APC and the PDP have nothing to offer Nigerians, that APGA is the only credible option Nigerians must follow this time around. John Gbor is from Benue State, and of course he says there is a lot Nigerians are missing, but you will miss no more if you decide to make APGA the only credible opposition and option for Nigerians. Now, we're looking at some of the things you've been saying. I've been following you all these weeks, some of your statements. You said APC, PDP has nothing to offer Nigerians. Why are you saying that now? Is it because you want to be in the race, or you are already in the race, you know, for the #1 position in Nigeria?
Yeah, I'm saying that APC and PDP have nothing to offer Nigeria, because right now we are being ruled, governed by APC, and there's a lot of hunger in the country. There's a lot of frustration. There are lots of unemployment. As many as 60 million youth are unemployed, and there is an insecurity situation throughout the country. Nigerians are being killed by fellow Nigerians all over the country. And our president, President Muhammadu Buhari, went overseas and said it's Cuban, it's people from Libya that are coming to kill, that are coming to Nigeria, that do come to Nigeria to kill our fellow citizens. This is shameful for our president to say foreigners are coming to kill his own citizens, and he has nothing to do about it. He's helpless. Reverend fathers were killed in Benue. People are being killed in Gobir. People are being killed in Plateau State. People are being killed in southern Kaduna. People are being killed all over the country, even in the southeast. It is APC has actually failed Nigeria, and the earlier Nigerians vote out President Muhammadu Buhari and bring in General Gbor to take charge of the security of this country, the better. Not only security, but also economic development and the restructuring and all things that we need to do to make this country a better nation for all of us.
You've mentioned one word that is very interesting in the political atmosphere in Nigeria. You said restructuring, but I'll come back to that later. Let's stay on some of the things you've raised. Before this present government came into place, it came on a three-pronged promise. You know, security, revive the economy, and, you know, make Nigerians safe again. Up till this last Boko Haram video came out, you will agree with me and with most Nigerians out there that the APC has done remarkably well when you compare to the PDP in terms of security. Now, for the fact that there are some slacks does not mean that APC has not, to a large extent, you know, delivered on the promises it's made about giving Nigerians a secured country to live in. Is it right totally to blame the APC government of failing in terms of security, just like you've said?
During war in any nation, the military fights the war. The military fights the battles. But it is civilians that win the war. It's government. If the military has about 10, 15 battles to fight or more, they may win one battle after the other, may lose some battles, but it is not the military that wins the war. Battles are different from wars. It is the government of the country that wins the war. When President Buhari was coming in, was campaigning, he promised that within 3 months or so he will finish, he will end the war. He will finish with Boko Haram. He's been here for a long time, for 3 years, and our soldiers are being killed. Recently, about 100 soldiers were killed. The federal government is saying 40, but what you saw in American publication is about 100 soldiers. Overran, the enemy came and overran the barracks, the battalion, and killed even the battalion commander. This is not good. The military is doing its best, but the government is not doing the best. If the war has become that serious, President Buhari should not just sit in his office and communicate with the general. He should let the nation know. We have intelligent human beings in this country. We have traditional rulers. We have professors. We can mobilize and find out what can we do to solve this war. It's not only fighting, getting the military to fight. The government should do everything to negotiate and find out who are behind this war. It is not these boys who are fighting in the bush that are in charge of this war. The people in charge of this war are in Abuja. Some of them are in Kano. Some of them in Port Harcourt. They are all over the place.
So
why did you find them out and negotiate with them? So the people in the northeast who started this Boko Haram are fighting injustice. Just as the youth of the Niger Delta, when they were fighting the injustice. So let the federal government find out what is happening with our youth. They are not employed, and they cannot just sit there. They want to marry us any other person. They want to have houses. They want to have cars. They want to live well. So the federal government should try and dispense justice to our youth. Over 60,000 youths are unemployed. It's not proper.
Sir, if you become the president of Nigeria, what will you do in the first 3 months to ensure that the issue of unemployment, like you've put it, is stamped out of the system completely? You
see, as long as you are not taking care of your youth, you are sitting on time bomb.
Okay.
And as I always say, Nigeria has excellent youth. Otherwise, the country would have been in a terrible chaos by now. Youth graduates, almost 4 million youth graduate in a year from the university, and after NYC, they stay without jobs. And government doesn't seem to care. Sometimes they select just a few, give them stipends and display them on television to let the world know that they are working for the youth. When they are dealing about just 100 youth and the millions are there languishing in poverty. When I become the president of this country, and by the grace of God I'm going there, I will be. The first thing I'm going to do is to set up a youth agency in the presidency to take care of all the youth of Nigeria. The first thing I'm going to do in the process is to document all the youth graduates from the wards, each ward of Nigeria, each local government, each state, and know precisely who they are, where they graduated, and so forth. We will then verify from the university to be sure that we are dealing with the true human beings. Then after that, we will embark on the process of retraining them and then empower them. We will also employ them in some of the things that we're doing, like construction, like roads, schools, hospitals. They'll be employed. I also plan to develop a green belt across the front line of the northern states that border the desert. The desert is encroaching at the rate of 0.6 kilometers a year. I want to check the desert so that we will recover the land we lost to the desert. Okay. And we are going to plant trees. We are going to do irrigation. We are going to set up dairy farms. We are going to plant trees in such a way that in the next 10 years, the northern states can start exporting timber and then also agricultural products, including dairy products, because we are going to run dairy farms.
So some of these things you've said are encapsulated in some of the programs currently being run by the APC-led government. There is the money, trader money, there is the youth scheme, there is the You Win, and all those other little infrastructural provisions that the government is making to ensure that youths in Nigeria return to agriculture? Because what you're saying is talking about aquaculture and the fact that, you know, the Sahara Desert is encroaching heavily upon lands that should have been used for irrigable, you know, agriculture in Nigeria. These are some of the things presently on ground. What do you think is not being done properly to ensure that youths are actually captured and we see, you know, the results play out immediately? Just recently.
Can you actually tell the number of youth that are involved in this APC project?
Okay.
Millions of youth are roaming the streets. They are just playing politics. If you want to help the youth, let all the youth know. Parade them. Let them know that this is the government is helping us. And that's what I'm going to do. Well, all the youth throughout the Federation will be documented, and we will help them. We will, within 12 months, I want to make sure that we have at least taken care of 20 million youth. If we have not, those that remain will know that the government, at least the government loves them, and that something will be done. But the first 12 months, I want to take care of the youth.
Yes, the program is still Situation Room. You can be part of this program. Just call the number being scrolled on our screen right now. Of course, tweet at me, francis.e. You can be part of this program. I have with me on the program this afternoon retired Major General John Gbor. He is, of course, the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance. He's making a lot of promises, and I think I should not be the only one to hear some of these promises. You can be a part of this program. Of course, call the number displayed on our screen and have an interactive session with him. It is the Situation Room. Sir, let me take you back on something you mentioned earlier. You talked about restructuring Nigeria. Yeah. A lot of people have canvassed and won elections on the promises of restructuring. Now, what is your idea, or what will you do immediately, you know, to have a restructuring plan put in place so that Nigerians can begin to, you know, have a new feel, you know, of what APGA will bring to Nigeria?
When Nigerians talk about restructuring, most of them don't know what they're talking about. They say in the past we had regions. And when General Gowon came as the military head of state, he created states. And now we have a total of 36 states. He gave us 12. And because we have become, we are the poverty capital of the world, nothing is moving. People are being killed by fellow Nigerians. There's a lot of frustration, a lot of hunger. So because of this frustration, people are saying, oh, when we were in the regions, Western region, Northern region, Eastern region, there was competition and things were better. So let us go back to the regions. They don't know what they are talking about.
You mean regionalization will not actually help Nigeria?
It will not. It will.
A situation where the regions, the states are stronger, the center, you know, does not have to dictate what the states get. Because what we have right now...
Please, listen to me.
Okay, sir.
Nigeria, when we started in the 20s and 30s, they were when nationalism and patriotism, nationalism began, it was like one single paw growing, and they were not referring to themselves as Yoruba, Fulani, Hausa, Igbo.
There was a sense of
They were just calling themselves Nigerians and Africans. Now, then in 1944, the youth came together and approached the youth, especially those at King's College Lagos, ex-students and students King's College Lagos, came together and asked Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. They went to him and told him, sir, the British say we are Nigerians, we are one country, but we don't know ourselves. We don't have one single council that speaks on behalf of every Nigerian. But we, the youth, are ready, but we don't have leadership. We need a leadership that can help us to bring Nigerians together. So Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe encouraged them, use his own media system. They invited Nigerians from all over the country. Each ethnic group that came sent 2 representatives. 101 ethnic groups were represented in Glover Hall on the 26th of August 1944. And the purpose of this meeting was to will together all Nigerian ethnic groups and then speak, form a council that can speak on behalf of all Nigerians and work for the prosperity of all Nigerians. So on that day, they formed the National Council of Nigeria at the instance of the youth, and they gave us the cock. It is the youth that agitated for the formation of this council, and the youth that gave us the cock, which we now have in ABGA.
Okay.
Now, this thing called ABGA, that was the day it started on August 26, 1944, when 101 ethnic groups came together in a grand alliance. When Ojukwu brought it back, he only added the word progressive. Grand alliance started to give Nigeria the nationalism, the hope that the black world expected of all Nigerians, expected from us as a nation. The American, black American, the Jamaicans, the European descent, black, everybody, African blacks, look at Nigeria as the hope for the whole of Africa, the whole of the black world. Now, when the British discovered that Nigerians were united, they were threatened because this kind of unity will send them packing for agitation for independence. So they brought one Arthur Richards from...
Sir Arthur Richards.
Sir Arthur Richards, you call him sir. Sir Arthur Richards, he was brought from Jamaica. He was a Jamaican British colonial governor. He was good at suppressing nationalism. So they brought him to come and truncate Nigerian nationalism. So when he came, he looked at what was going on. So he decided to give us the first constitution since Nigeria was amalgamated in 1914. That was the first constitution they ever gave us to bring all Nigerians together. And this constitution, instead of integrating Nigerians, they divided Nigeria into Eastern region, Western region, Northern region. This is to truncate, and Sir Arthur Richards said, I have done this deliberately to truncate Nigerian nationalism before Nigerian nationalism truncate British imperialism. Okay. So when he did this, some people, the nationalists who were talking about Nigeria, fighting for Nigerian nationalism.
I think we have a call. Somebody is trying to reach us on this program. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Very fine, thank you. Your name and where you're calling from? Welcome to Situation
I'm
Room.
calling from Benue State.
From Benue State? Exactly. Yeah. From the constituency of our great guest here.
Very good.
Yes. Your name, sir?
Katina. My name is Jeremiah Over.
Jeremiah, thank you. Let's hear from you.
I'm calling from Katina local government.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
My main problem is when you talk about this, our Mr. President, according to we Benue people, there is the most important problem that we're having. There is a particular his own constituency. This is our Katina Bridge. I don't know whether our brother is passing through the road, so supposed to see how our Katina Bridge is. At least he's supposed to see how our road is pouring and our bridge is breaking. Around Boma to Katina to pass is very bad. I want him to just open eyes and see how the road is. It's a very serious matter.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
And I very, very appreciate what he's doing. If he enter office, the first thing he's supposed to do is supposed to construct our roads.
Okay.
We don't know how, we don't get road to go anywhere. That road break now. We are in danger. That is what I want Mr. President to know.
Okay, thank you, Jeremiah. He's calling from Katsina. He says their roads are bad.
Yes, thank you, Jeremiah. I passed through over that bridge. It is a death trap, and I know that somebody from Shitire area of Katsina local government died on that bridge. He fell into the ditch. He fell into the river because of the the damage of the bridge. Well, one thing you should notice that that bridge was constructed by, during the time General Yakubu Gowon was the military head of state. He is from the North Central. He is from the Middle Belt. And since that bridge was constructed when Gowon, Gombok, later Gombok was the governor, military governor of the then Bedouin Plateau State, nothing has been done to improve on it. And I assure you that when Nigerians vote me, it's not only Katsina Bridge. Katsina Bridge is a death trap. There are similar bridges all over the country, and I'm coming to save Nigeria. I'm coming to save Nigerians from their predicament, terrible predicament. I'm going to work on roads. I'm going to work on bridges. I'm going to work on airports, seaports, and airports. So be assured, just get Nigerians to vote for me, and you will have a government that cares. Thank you very much.
Yes, the sensitization is already on, and on a funny, on a very lighter note, you've just canvassed, and you are, it's very, very important. Well, that was just on a lighter note.
Yeah.
Sir, I would like to take you on some other issues.
We were talking about this restructuring and how people are agitating to go back to regions and the implication of the regions.
Okay.
So when the Richards gave us these regions, 2 years after we were given regional assemblies.
Okay.
Now, when he gave us the regions, he himself said, I have done this deliberately to truncate Nigerian nationalism before Nigerian nationalism will truncate British imperialism and send them packing. Okay. Now,
we have another caller.
Okay.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Very fine, thank you. Your name and where are you calling from, please?
Mr. Shire Sanyapa calling from Katsina.
Okay, another person from Katsina. Go ahead. Hello, we can hear you. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, we've just lost that particular
I think we should try and
Yes,
finish.
yes.
So this restructuring is a very important.
Okay, sir.
The British gave us this regionalism to truncate our nationalism. And so those Nigerians that were working for nationalism, some of them were from the East. So when they went back to their regions, regionalism was regionalized. And we hardly had people who had that. Please, let's.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, sir.
We hardly had people who were still fighting for Nigeria. We had people, but people were more concerned with Eastern nationalism, Western nationalism, and Eastern, regional nationalism. And eventually, when they gave us regional assemblies and people started making rules, nobody cared about Nigerian nationalism. That's when we lost patriotism. When we lose your nationalism, 1947, when we were given that constitution, when you lose nationalism, then you don't have patriots. Nigeria is a country without patriots. We have regional patriots, but now when General Gowon came, he gave us 12 states. And with these 12 states, now we are up to 36 states. When people are voted and they come to the center, they only come to take what belongs to the center to become heroes in their regions. And Nigerian heroism is regionally based. Either you are a northern hero, you are a western hero, or you are eastern hero, which is unfortunate. That's why we don't have somebody like Professor Wole Soyinka is a hero. It is only international community that recognize him. We don't recognize him. In here, we just say, he's a Yoruba man. Somebody like the Imam of Kano is a great patriot, but we don't recognize him because he's a Fulani man in Kano. He's a northerner. The Igbos will not recognize him. The Yoruba will not. Even we in the Middle Belt will not recognize him because but he's a great patriot. So that is the harm we have done to ourselves. So Nigerians, when we talk about corruption, this is the beginning of corruption. When people come from the regions, when they came from the region to House of Representatives in Lagos, they only came there to pick what belongs to the center
And go and be popular.
and become heroes in their own regions. And when General Gowon created states, and now when people come to the center, they only come to take what is there for themselves, no longer for the regions. So we don't have heroes. Nigeria is a country of 1 million heroes without a single hero. Because you are either a Fulani man, or you are a Biro man, you are a Tiv man, so you are a Yoruba man. So if you do something that the nation should hail you, only your own ethnic group will hail you. And General Gbor is coming to reunite Nigerians and bring back the spirit we lost in 1947. I want to get that spirit back. Each country has its own spirit. Canada has its spirit. United States as a country has its own spirit. UK has its spirit. Nigeria has our spirit of unity. When we are playing soccer, that spirit comes, and after that it goes. So when I come back, when I come into as president of this country, I'm going to bring back the spirit that we lost in 1947. And if we go back to regions were created by the British to decentralize Nigerian nationalism, to play one region against the other, one ethnic group against the other. That's the secret why Nigerians don't. We love ourselves as Nigerians, but we are simultaneously hate ourselves because we were told by the British that if you are Yoruba man, you were told that the Igbos are not good. If you are Igbo man, you were told that the Fulani man is not good. If you are Fulani man, you're told that the Yorubas are not good. So that they play one after the other, against the other. And we don't know what has, the Igbos cannot tell exactly what the Yorubas have done against them. The Yoruba cannot tell what the Igbos did, but they were told, and it became a culture that Igbos are not good. The Fulanis were told that Southerners are not good. They are coming to the north to take over your position. So that type of fear. So I'm coming, when I become the president, I'm going to do restructuring. My own restructuring will not be based on regions. We're not going back to regions. It will be based on economic entities that are viable, that are sustainable and competitive. If a state has resources like oil, you mine your oil and take care of your people. Certain percentage will be given to the federal government. If you have gold, you mine it. If you are doing dairy products, whatever you are doing, you only certain percentage of what you get will be forwarded to, will be sent to the center. So that's the type of restructuring. Then the police will be decentralized so that the federating units will have their own security. If you are producing, you should as well have the security that can protect your economic entities and the citizens. The judiciary also will be decentralized. The Court of Appeal, in particular, will be taken down to the state so that the judiciary can dispense justice faster than what we are doing now. You don't have to wait coming from Akwa Ibom, Benue, Kano to come to the center to get justice. People should get justice where they are, except the apex court that will
That's
be
the
at
Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court will be at the federal.
Sir, I want to take you on some issues. In the past, APGA has never produced, a presidential candidate. You are the first in the history of this nation, a party that was hitherto seen as, a regional party, coming out with somebody very strong and who has been speaking his mind about Nigeria. Now, there are insinuations out there that the plan to have you as a presidential aspirant is a ploy of, of the PDP to share APC votes in the southeast, for example, and of course in the north central, because you are from the north central. It will not be a easy ride, for the APC, and that is why that there is this plan between the APGA and of course the PDP, to have Obi, the former chairman of APGA, go to become vice presidential candidate to Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, and of course you as the presidential candidate of APGA, so that bulk votes will not go to the APC, you know, in the southeast and other states where you have strong bearings. How do you react to some of these insinuations?
Well, these are insinuations. Politicians say what they want to say, but I, Major General John Wilson Gbor, I am contesting to become the next president of Nigeria. I'm going to defeat President Muhammadu Buhari because Nigerians are fed up with him. Nigerians are fed up with Atiku. I mean, fed up with even with PDP. I'm going to defeat President Muhammadu Buhari. I will take off from him, and I'm going to defeat PDP because Nigerians, they have already failed Nigerians, and Nigerians are now ready for either PDP or APC. So APGA is now the next party that will rule Nigeria, and General Gbor is going to be the next president.
Sir, we have some months close to the general elections. We do not know, maybe you've not unveiled your vice president, who is going to be the candidate of the vice president, presidential office. Who is the person? Can Nigerians know him?
No, Nigerians know him. It's only you don't know him.
Okay.
He's Chief Jerry Chukwuoke. He's from Imo State.
Okay.
He's an industrialist. He's a businessman.
And he has not been outspoken about what he wants to do. Because I am concerned because...
He's been making statements.
Sir, let me tell you. The reason why I am concerned about who your vice presidential candidate will be is because when he comes into office, by the grace of God, APGA becomes the next party that is ruling Nigeria. Your vice president will take charge of the economy of Nigeria. And you will agree with me that the economy of Nigeria as it is right now is not healthy. So he needs to tell Nigerians more. I don't know what you want to tell us about. You've told us some things, but we would like to hear directly, you know, more from him about what the economy, what will be the turnaround in the first 100 days. See, Nigerians complained about this present administration when in 6 months it did not produce ministers, for example, because those are the lieutenants. Will it also take APGA that much?
No.
You know, to bring...
It is surprising that President Muhammadu Buhari went around the country campaigning. When you go around, you are meeting people. But when he came to power, when he was elected and sworn in, it took him 6 months. So I used to defend him and said maybe he's getting the best Nigerians. But when he finally came up with people, he came up with people that started having appointments in 1960. Which means that he didn't know what he was doing. As you are going around campaigning, you are meeting people, and I'm already making my list. Of course, I know I'm going there. And it will not take me that long. It will not take me... I think my list should be ready before I'm sworn in. I may not announce it, but my list should be ready before I'm sworn in. We are definitely concerned with the economy because my running mate, my vice president, and myself, we are going to operate in a kind of economy that will be dependent largely on the private sector. We are going to motivate the private sector, support them to become productive so that more youth will be employed. And we're also going to invest heavily in agricultural development, agricultural production. And we will have cottage industries. We are going to have some, apart from cottage industries, we will encourage the private sector to set up businesses and industries that can accommodate, will accommodate our youth and women.
Sir, I believe you've also heard about the next level plan of the President Muhammadu Buhari campaign team when he launched it just 2 weeks ago. He says he will take Nigeria to the next level.
I don't think President Buhari has any level. If he has not given us, The first level, we are still on 0 level. So where is it going to take us? 0.6 or 0. What? Buhari doesn't have a level. That's why I'm coming in, so that I'm coming to push him out.
Well, let's take some calls. The program has been Situation Room, and we have with us retired Major General John Gbor from Benue State. He wants to be the next president. He's the presidential candidate of All Progressive Grand Alliance. I'll see if we can take some more calls. Sir, on the last note, what will be the representation of women in your government? Are you going to have a
I'm happy you asked that question.
Are you going to have a first lady, sir?
Yeah, my wife is there.
Okay.
Women among the Nigerians, like youth, are highly disregarded in this country. And like the youth, that I'm going to have an agency in the presidency. I know that there's a ministry of women affairs, but I also want to bring the women, the issue of women, into the presidency so that we take care of women. Apart from giving women jobs in my government and youth also, I want women to organize themselves in cooperative societies all over the country. Then we will use microfinance banks and some other finance houses and empower them. If I have an elder as a minister, I want a youth, either a female youth or a male youth, to be minister of state, so that they will be trained on the job.